Hey, what's going on? This is Tony Taylor. Welcome to Leaders Lead Podcast. I'm super excited with this podcast. What we're doing is we're sitting down and we're talking to some amazing leaders across the country. We're learning cool things about them. We're learning where did they get their leadership style from? How did they adapt that leadership style? What are they changing? What are some things that they need to work on? I want you to tune in to listen to Leaders Lead Podcast. Every single week, we're going to have new content for you. We're streaming on all the major platforms, so look out for Leaders Lead Podcast. That was pretty strong. We're back.
Absolutely.
We are back. We are back. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Thank you to everybody that tuned in last night when we did our test run. I think it was pretty successful. Today, we're going to get into the meat and potatoes. We've been talking about leadership, right? We've been talking about leadership. Leaders Lead the Podcast. Today, we're going to talk about or talk with a leader about leadership. This is going to be good. Gonna be good, man. I can't hype this up. No longer. I can't stretch this, man. This is good. I'm pretty excited. Go ahead, Hiram.
Hey, well, welcome everyone. And it's Red Friday as we normally do it. And this is the second episode of Leaders Lead the Podcast with Tony Taylor and myself with our special guest of Pat McCormick. And so this individual, Patrick, man, so I'm just going to, his call out name, his call sign is Pat. So I'm just going to leave it just like that. An individual that's been in the Navy for 23 years, a individual that has been able to been around the Marine Corps and the infantry unit, has been able to be affiliated from the other side of another branch that can bring some value and different perspective of things, has been able to be deployed, work with the infantry. He was in the 1st MARDIV for a bit. Prior to that, he was supporting the Mossack community. He's command sergeant, but command master chief in the Navy. This gentleman, yeah, that's all I need to do. There's no new takes on that. But this gentleman brings a lot of value here because he's still in the military. He has a different perspective about things. And we had a nice conversation about what is the real true backstory of what Pat brings to the table. And Pat really educated me is that, hey, it was good to be with the Marine Corps and knowing the culture. But when I was in that culture as well, I was very impressed with the Navy that upholding the standards. So I really want to introduce this one outstanding veteran. And a lot of people can learn that because that's what Leaders Lead the Podcast is all about. We lead the podcast for leaders to bring some value as we learn. We're not subject matter experts, but we facilitate the program to be able to bring some value to an individuals, especially Pat. Welcome to the show, Pat. Go ahead, brother.
Glad to be here.
All right, brother. So tell us a little bit about yourself. Okay. Tell us a little bit about yourself, and I'm gonna give it back to Tony here for a bit.
It's almost like for everybody that's listening, we got three veterans. Well, 2 veterans and 1 active duty. So this is where it's at, man. We just sitting down. It's like we're in the barracks, getting to know one another. You might hear a couple swear words. We're not swearing today. All right, you're a chaplain, right, Pat?
No,
you're a chaplain.
I'm not a chaplain, not at all.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
I got you confused. All right, go ahead, man. Let's hear about Pat.
No worries. I'll try to explain the chaplain thing. Okay, so I'm Pat McCormick, born and raised around the Army, believe it or not. So I'm an Army brat, but I chose the correct service to serve in for me. I've been in since '98. Started out on old raggedy ship that doesn't exist anymore. And then I went to another ship after that. That ship doesn't exist anymore. and then I hit shore duty. And during the time period, I was a deck seaman, a deck sailor, and this is like the guy that does all the painting and chipping and sweeping and swabbing. And so for me, this was an immediate character builder. I think had I come in with a job, with an occupation that was other than that, I just wasn't ready in my life for that. I needed to come in and kind of earn my stripes, if you will. And so one of the places that young sailors go to on the ship to escape daily work life, we call that skating, was in the library. So in the library, that's when I met the chaplain and the religious program specialist. And the RP that was there, she's a good friend of mine, Jess. I'll call her out by name. She was a great friend to me at the time and a great friend to me now. Jess Jimenez. She goes by a different last name. Anyways, she told me she was going to the Marine Corps, and that fascinated me. So I said, how does that work? I just wasn't educated on it at all. So anyways, she went. I went on to my next duty station, and then I looked more into this Marine Corps thing, and it was the right time in my life. And so I went to Field Med Service School in Camp Lejeune, North Carolina, got all trained up. And then I went to 1st Marine Logistics Group, spent a couple years there, a couple pumps to Iraq. And then I went to 1st Marine Special Operations Battalion. It's now called 1st Raider Battalion. And this is the West Coast arm of MARSOC. And I was part of a mating deployment to Afghanistan. And then I did some more shore duty stuff. And then I had this itch to do more. So the religious program specialist rating is not a chaplain, and it's not a chaplain in training. It's simply a person that is the jack of all trades, if you will, but the master of nothing. And I don't mean that to be a negative connotation.
No.
To do all my own supply. No. Hear me out. So I had the capability of doing all my own admin, my own supply. I was what they commonly refer to us as the bodyguard for the chaplain, because the chaplain doesn't carry weapons. And I carried a lot of weapons with me. So the misnomer out there is that I was this baby chaplain and that I was getting ready to become a chaplain someday. Listen, I have that's my thing, but military doesn't want me to be a chaplain. So anyways, there's a runway for everybody. And at the end of that runway, you either keep flying or you turn around and you go home. And so I decided to get into the command senior chief swim lane. That's what the Marine Corps would call a first sergeant.
Right.
And so this took me into a different path altogether of leadership. From there, I was selected for the program and went to the Littoral Combat Ship program. These are your little tiny ships that look like Ferraris on the water. Had a great tour there. Had really learned about what it's like to both lead and manage people at the same time, to both inspire and encourage people at the same time. And now I'm with Naval Aviation in China Lake, California, with VX9. And that's
China Lake,
where I'm at right now. China Lake.
So,
yep,
man, so I know. Look, I have to say, man, I've been to China Lake and I've been to Bridgeport. So, man, China Lake back about 30-something years ago. What's up, Jake? Is man, it was like somewhere in the pocket of in the desert, the back road of going through Vegas. So, Pat, tell me how China Lake is now. What's going on over there as far as that duty station is concerned?
So back in July of 2019, they had 2 major earthquakes, and they were major, and it caused some significant downgrade of the base. They ended up losing their gym, the chapel, the movie theater, a lot of structural issues. And it really took China Lake by storm. And then as they were kind of getting their feet back underneath them, all of a sudden coronavirus say, you know what, we got something for you. So kind of back-to-back hardships like that. And we are recovering and we're getting better every day. The thing I can say about China Lake is the people there are pretty incredible. You know, it's not a place that I want to retire, you know, and live, only because I'm spoiled. I live in Temecula, California,
no joke,
like, the
wine
greatest
country
places in the world.
Yeah,
exactly.
Man. Wine country, man, where you could go and check it everything. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
it's incredible. It's incredible here. Yeah, but
I want. Hey, I want to give people some insight. Sorry, man, to cut you off, but there's a couple of people, they're sending me messages and they're saying, why in the hell do me and Hiram laugh every time you talk about China Lake? But just to give you all like some context, China Lake sucks. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it, man. China Lake sucks. I got my father-in-law's from there and lived there, and man, yeah, it's a. Go ahead.
No, real quick. China Lake is like 29 Palms, resort, 5-star resort with a different venue on that. That's that's how I gotta put it on there.
That place.
Man. It's like 29 Palms' little brother that you didn't know you had.
Exactly.
It's good, but again, the people is what's great there. The community is pretty dang special there. Again, I don't want to live there, but I'm happy to work there, and I'm happy to work with the people that I work with.
That's awesome. So, let me ask you a question, bro. So you're 23 years in the military. My question to you is, as you've been served and you've done a lot of due diligence and been supporting the chaplain community, and then the infantry community and the special ops community. When you're winding down to your career, do you have an exit plan from all the experiences that you've had? Have you learned to reinvent yourself? Because what I found out since I've been out, that a lot of senior NCOs and field grade officers have a hard time going through transition to able to adapt. They're too high and left, their clicks are high. And when they go through a lot of stress pressures, they start checking out, they're thinking they're back in the military. So can you unpack that and share to Tony and the audience what's going through your mind when you're in the twilight of your career?
Yeah, definitely. So about a year ago, I really wasn't invested in people's retirements. So I had a lot of people retiring around me, and a lot of them were friends. And I couldn't see how somebody could retire so early when they had so much runway left, and they were doing really well. So it really surprised me. But during COVID, I had a lot of time to think. And while I was sitting on my couch thinking, a very good friend of mine told me, "Hey, do you have a LinkedIn account?" And I was like, "Well, I'm not retiring. Why the heck would I get a LinkedIn account?" But dude, trust me, get on there. Start letting people know who you are, what you're about, because you have something special to give to people. And the reason why I'm at where I'm at now is there's this saying that Matt Danforth, he's one of the best human beings I know. He told me it's a statement called Benaya, because it's not about you anymore. And that's something I just hold so dearly to my heart. And so really I'm kind of on a mission of I could get out a year from now. I could retire a year from now, or I could keep going for another 10 years. I don't know. But while I'm here and while I have this platform, I'm here to help people. And, you know, I'm not a transition expert, nothing like that, but I'm a decent human being that wants to help people. So, you know, I listen to guys like Matt Quick, Michael Quinn. Those guys are just spelling out real knowledge about, hey, you know what, your military career is cool, but it doesn't mean anything out here, you know. So my transition, it may be what somebody would do in a year. I'm going to do maybe for a 10-year period. People I can help along the way. And to be honest, I don't know what I want to retire. I may go work at Walmart. I may go work at McDonald's. I may be a CEO of a major Fortune 500. I don't know. I just know what I want to do right now, and that's help people. And I just want to be the best at what I do so that I can use my platform appropriately.
How long have you been on LinkedIn?
I want to say about a little over a year, like roughly a year now.
Yeah.
No, yeah. And I was, I was one of those just looked at everything to like things, because once you like something, you're tied to that. You're branded, right? So actually, one of the first of likes I had was actually to you, Hiram. It was all your posts about like remembering our legacy, the people that came before me. I just think we don't do a good enough job of that. And you know, I think one of my first comments was to you too. You know, you mentioned about PTSD. I have PTSD as well, and I think that takes a great deal of courage to let people know that that's the case, and that you're doing. You have bad time. That's important for people like us to tell other people it's okay, and to have courage.
I love that you said that, man. I love that you said I have PTSD. That's something that Hiram and I was talking about last night. Was there's so many veterans, man, so many veterans that hide it, you know, hide it from their friends, hide it from their family. We'll even hide it from each other, right? And we need more people like you, right? Somebody that's still in the military like you, and that's in a really good position that can say, look, man, if I can have it, you can have it too. Right. But, you know, what are we going to do about it, man? I love that. I want to applaud you on that tremendously. I was going to ask you, Pat, we've been talking about the military. I wanted to know about you. There was something that I saw in your bio that was amazing. You were talking about you went to go live with a family member, and then all of a sudden something else happened. Can you tell us about that a little bit?
Yeah, so I'm like somewhat decent at basketball. I mean, I'm not pro level or nothing, but I always wanted to be a pro. And so I was playing basketball at a local church, and this guy said, "Hey, do you think you'd be interested in going to a private high school?" And I said, "Why? Like, that's weird." He's like, "Well, do you want to play basketball there?" I said, "Sign me up." So I went my last 2 years of high school to a little place called Auburn Adventist Academy. That's Washington State. And I just had a great time there. I really learned how to be comfortable in my own skin, and to not worry about popularity and things like that. It was like the right thing for me at the right time.
You know, Pat.
So anyways, fast forward, I graduate high school.
Sorry about that.
Ceasefire, Marine. Ceasefire.
It went dead for a minute. Sorry about that. Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead, Pat.
Yeah. So anyways, fast forward, I graduate high school, and my mom's there to congratulate me. And then the same day she said, "Hey, you know, we're kind of going in different directions. You might want to pack your stuff up." So I did, and I went to go live with my uncle in Michigan. So I was one of those that grew up. I never wanted to be part of the military. I just didn't believe in it. It wasn't me. I lived around the Army my whole life. So it was something I didn't want to be part of. And while I was living with my uncle, I tried to go to college, and I didn't have money. I tried to do some jobs. Like, I was in pool construction. I was washing windows. I was mowing yards. I was just, trust me, I'm not a maintenance person, but I was doing maintenance stuff for people because I need to make money. And I just came to a realization, like, this is not life. So I tried out for the Air Force. I went to talk to a recruiter, and no offense to them, but they said I was too dumb to be in the Air Force. So I said, roger that. And as I was walking on the hall,
he froze
as
up.
I was leaving,
I was gonna.
"Hey,
Mm-hmm. We're listening.
You guys got me?
Yeah, go on, keep on going. Just keep on going, bro. Keep on going.
Yeah. So, anyways, I got an opportunity to talk to all the crew. Mm-hmm. The only recruiter that wasn't there was the Marine Corps, and so as I'm leaving, no kidding you, right outside the door, there's a Ku Klux Klan rally down, like going down the street. So I take my butt back inside, and somehow I ran into the Navy recruiter who wasn't there, and he said, "Hey man, you got 5 minutes?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm interested in the Navy." He's like, "Dude, give me 5 minutes, it'll change your life." And this is in '98. Like, this is when people didn't talk like that. So he said, look at this cruise book. I'll be right back. If this doesn't inspire you to be in the Navy, then I guess it's a good fit. Anyways, I looked at the cruise. It was like a high school yearbook, and people having a great time, and crossing the line ceremonies, and people having a great time, working hard, and just, I know, it just seemed like the environment. So I said, yeah, I'll sign up. I went to boot camp 3 days later, and that is kind of where I am now. So the real me, like, at first I was super, super pissed at my mom. I mean, I really was. Like, who does that? But at the same time, like, if you don't grow up in that moment and do something with yourself, you probably never will. So it was that, coupled with that my early ongoings with the military, having the tough job in the Navy, like deck department, that's hard work. I mean, these sailors don't come in with a job. You will earn your job here. You will earn your place. And so that's one of the reasons why I am who I am. A little bit of adversity here and there, and you either let it get the best of you, or you make something out of it.
Wow. So you feel like it made you a better man, kind of going through that early onset of adversity?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Man, I can honestly tell you, bro, you ever heard that saying, somebody else's trash is somebody else's treasure? And you got some major skin in the game. And when we're talking back in '98, that's right before anything that happened through, post 9/11, we spoke a different language. So, hey, man, we'll get you in. This is it. They don't talk like that anymore. And for you, Pat, people really don't understand how you've been able to evolve and develop the characteristics of being a leader internally, because you've had some own personal issues of being denied or not being appreciated, and you're instantaneously seeking validation to prove to yourself, by not only by words but by deeds and your actions. And this is what it leads you to today. I mean, we can really appreciate that. And this is why Tony and myself, and bringing into the podcast and having you as a guest, is why Leaders Lead the podcast. And people don't understand that everybody is built and designed with certain leaderships and traits, but you have been able to bring something to the table, to the forefront. There's a backstory of what drives you to success. So we really appreciate it,
Thank you.
Yeah, that's good stuff, man. That is good stuff. I was looking at, not just me, Hiram and myself, we were both kind of looking at all your ribbons and stuff, man. And it's like, damn, man, I'm pretty impressed. And Hiram said something. He said, first time I ever heard Hiram say this, he said, man, I'm humbled. It takes a lot to humble my brother Hiram.
No, man. When you look at an individual that's been able to take nothing and make something, and you're representing a senior staff NCO classification, and your salad bar tells you the life story of your career, how can you dispute that? Who can challenge that? Right. Nobody else can challenge that. I mean, I wouldn't be able to challenge that. This is a different culture. So when I say I'm humble, I'm saying, man, that salad bar is like big. It's like, that's good enough to feed about 5 of us right there looking at that salad bar.
Tell everybody what a salad bar is. I'll give a picture of it. You explain it.
So the salad bar,
that's
pretty
Pat
much.
McCormick, by the way.
So a salad bar is an acronym for the ribbons in that you've earned while you've been in the military. So during the course of your enlistment, there's going to be certain places of deployments or certain campaigns or certain issues that you've been attached to a unit that's going to be able to be recognized, where there's a combat action ribbon, a good cookie ribbon, or being deployed for a long period of time. So when you're wearing that salad bar, that patch of salad where we talk of ribbons, people are going to see a story, and they're going to identify that Pat's story has a legacy, and that legacy tells you a lot about what he's been through, what he's seen, and what he's experienced. But especially with all that, what can he bring to the table?
Right. So and look at that salad bar, man. Look at those ribbons. They go all the way up to his ears.
Yeah,
man,
so
he's like Chesty Puller himself.
So Pat, during your time of being in active duty, I'm sure there came a moment in your time of, we all had that, where there was a moment where, you know, is this shit gonna go right and is it gonna go wrong? Do I question myself? It could be where you were deployed in the support unit. Can you unpack that for us to share with the audience and to us? What was the moment of truth for you in during your 23 years in the career in the Navy?
Jeez, there's about 100 I could tell you, but I'll start from the beginning. I want to be an inspiration, so I'll just tell you. If you know what an AFQT score is or an ASVAB score, I have a score of 32. Which means I barely qualified for military service. So from the very moment I joined the military, I've always had to fight that stigma of you're not smart enough, you're not capable, this job's not available for you. But there's been many, many moments along the way. The first time that I was part of a man overboard drill, I was not qualified to swim. I was, I think, a third class
S3
swimmer qualified.
Right.
Yeah. And they said, hey, we need somebody to get on this rib because we're going to have to pull this guy out of the water. And it was really my first moment where it really felt like the military. And this was back in 99. Sailor was okay. He wasn't hurt. He just fell over. We quickly responded. But it was like, hey, they looked at me, they pointed at me, get in the rib. You're about to go and pull this guy out of the water. And I just felt so empowered from that moment. It was one of those first aha moments where I really felt in the military, because before that, I just felt like a janitor. Like, and the military needs a form of janitor. That's cool, no problem. But to actually feel like I was contributing to some level of war fighting was pretty dang awesome. Fast forward a couple of years, another moment I had was, you know, I'm on the 50-foot tower about to jump off and jump into the water. And the guy that's in front of me, who's a great friend of mine, I mean, highly decorated warrior, was scared to death to jump off the 50-foot ladder.
Really?
Yeah. And, you know, I just said, hey, watch me, I'll do it. And trust me, I'm no war hero. This guy's a war hero. But I jumped off, and it's all about technique and courage. You know, maybe I'm just too dumb. Being dumb has been very helpful because I'm not afraid to fail. Like
no.
I kid you not. Like I'm not saying that I'm stupid. I'm telling you I go off gut instinct and heart.
Cool.
And that is what's led me to success. I don't sit around and analytically think about what could or could not go wrong. I do that now that I'm a senior sailor and I'm capable of having those moments. But when I was a junior sailor, I just didn't have fear. I'm going to try this, and if it doesn't work out, I'll move on. No big deal. Another moment is I was in Fort Benning, Georgia, in jump school. And I had successfully done my 5 jumps to get airborne.
Your wings? Okay.
Yeah. So I was getting ready to do, and I go through the chute, and for those who haven't jumped before, it's one of the most beautiful sounds in the world because it's pure silence. It's just incredible.
Yep.
So as you're going down, my chute starts to ravel up, and I start trying to do the bicycle method to get myself out of it. And I tell you, the wind, like, it doesn't look like you're moving fast, but all of a sudden, like, I did get clearance enough, and so I was thinking this might be it for me. Luckily, I just landed on my back, so I have significant back issues. But that was one of those aha moments where, holy crap, this could be the end, you know. And hell, I got more moments too. I'm the only idiot that went through Sears School twice.
No way.
Which one did you go to?
I went to the one in San Diego.
Okay, you went to San Diego?
I went to Brunswick, Maine.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Cold. Yeah, so when it was
it's cold as hell, man.
There's obvious things I can't talk about for Sears School, but
no,
I would tell you
that you could.
I was the most senior enlisted person in there, and this is one of those aha moments where, like, it almost makes me cry. So, like, as I'm looking at all the other captive people that were in there, like, it's a prison scene, which, without going into detail. So anyways, like, as a senior person, you have to take the responsibility for everybody under you. And again, like, this was one of those real moments of leadership where this is a simulated training, and at any time somebody could said, yeah, I'm done, I'm out of here. But I really took this to heart because I didn't want anybody to get hurt. I wanted everybody to be successful, and I wanted to be successful myself. It was just a glaring moment of realization of what's possible when we believe and when we care.
Yeah. So Pat, I was gonna ask you something really quick. I know when I was in Sears School, I kept hearing people say, "You're gonna learn some stuff about you that you never knew. You're gonna find out the real you." And I found out really quick. I found out that one of my greatest weaknesses, right, is the depths that I'm willing to go through to protect somebody else, even sometimes at my own detriment, right? That's what I found out about myself. And without, of course, without going into like detail in the way that the school is structured, but my partner, I was just like, okay, I'm ready to do whatever it takes for that partner, even if it meant hurt myself. Is this something that you learned not just like during SEER, but maybe in SEER, but your whole career, to where you're like, that's my weakness. That's where it's at right there.
So for real quick, can you just, I know we can't just elaborate in detail, but just break down the acronym of what Sears School is, and just if you could generalize it for people that don't understand, because I've been to Sears School back in the 70s, and we had it back down there in Fort Stewart, so it's swampland. So I get a little bit of taste of that. And all of us that have experience at Sears School, we learn a lot about ourselves, our weaknesses, and it carries us on there. So Pat, if you can unpack that for the audience to explain to them, generalize the Sears School and just keep it within the parameters that they just need to know, please.
Sure. So Sears School stands for Survival, Evasion, Resistance, and Escape. This is designed that if you are captured while a part of the military, know what to do, know how to take care of yourself, know how to get away, and know how to return with honor. And so the honor part is the thing that was the biggest takeaway for me. Knowing that it was possible to feel that way about my comrades in arms was eye-opening. It was very instrumental in the way I've led people in the military. It's the way I interact with people. I would tell you, if you're military and you haven't gone through Sears School, you need to go. I think that every service member should be required to go through. It is a very strategically enlightenment moment for you.
So a lot of people they want to be in the military and they think that they watch a lot of movies, but until it's time to do some gangster stuff, it puts you in perspective because
did you say some gangster stuff?
Yes, I did. I said some gangster stuff because after you go through that scenario, that evolution of Sears School, and you've been deployed, there's always that possibility that can happen, and you got to be your head's got to be on a pivot, on a swivel, and you got to be able to pivot at a moment's notice, and you have to have that winning mentality. And I'm talking about winning mentality that in the moment that happens, you're on. You don't wait to be on, it's on. And it's on all the time. And a lot of people don't understand that by winning in that mentality, coming from Sears School, and that level of evasion or the chances of being captured or being accosted by an insurgent changes the direction. It puts a PTSD moment in your life. It changes how you view people. And at the same time, your language, not only from your voice, but your body language changes as well. Wouldn't you agree?
100%. Yeah.
So you were deployed. Can you, without going into detail, how much did you learn from that? And what is the biggest caveat that you can share with these individuals today that have an assumption of what deploying is being out in the sandbox compared to back before 9/11?
Okay, so I had gone on some deployments before being with the Marine Corps, and your standard ship deployments. You go overseas, you go and hang out, and you drink some beers, and you do some Comrail projects, but most of your life is on the ship doing all that. My time with the Marine Corps was stark difference. So as soon as I got off the plane, a lot of the Marines were giving me a hard time, saying that I need to be ready. Like, don't go condition one or nothing, but hey, just be aware, like we're about to get into some stuff right now. And they were all joking around.
Some gangster shit.
I was like at the ready. Yeah, ready to go. And then
ready to go, brother.
It was the Kuwaiti airport where you couldn't be more safe. Like Kuwait is like Sacramento, basically. It's like, really?
Wow.
But anyways, we got on a C-130 from there, and then they tried the same joke with me again. And as we were landing, the C-130 is taking shots, like hitting the side of the aircraft, and I'm like, holy crap! Like I was kind of joking around, like, no, that's real bullets. So long story short, we landed, everything was okay. We unpacked our stuff. So I go on my first convoy. And I don't know if you guys remember this. We get all that SIF gear.
Yeah.
And I pack literally everything. I got my cold weather gear. It's like 125 degrees. I got my cold weather gear with me. I got like 20, 30 mags. And, I got my Beretta with me, my M4.
You brought the whole issue. You brought the whole issue.
Yeah,
they saw you. They were loving you. I said, we got some supplies from this brother right here.
like literally, like I had so much gear on that I couldn't get into the vehicle. Like I had to take some stuff off to get in the vehicle. And then
I love that, man.
Yeah,
I'm trying to real quick. I'm trying to envision this. If you're getting in a Humvee or big, tactical vehicle that if you're leading or anything, you're trying to fit in. Everybody's looking at you like, "What are you doing?"
Tactical bags, freaking choking you out and shit. Right?
Yeah. And I had like all the sexy gear, like all the like clip-on things. Like I was like, I'm really ready to go. Like. I almost thought about putting some camouflage on my face the morning of, but I don't think that would have gone over. So long story short, the biggest thing I learned from that experience is go lean and go hard.
There you go.
I packed way less from that point on, and it was a benefit to everybody. Trust me. I was nobody's supply goose after that.
Oh, you weren't advocating 511 gear out there in the desert, what we're doing right now, right? So
right.
that's
I think we all had our moments, man. I remember being a PX Ranger for a couple months. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we gotta. I'm looking at the numbers here, man. We got a lot of people in here, and the question, right, that I want to know was, as far as being a leader, because I know a lot of people, they're looking at this, especially a lot of people that might not have served in the military, and they see us as being this bravado, right? This hard figure. And what I wanted to know was like some weaknesses that you figured out about yourself and that you've had to work through as far as being a leader. Oh, did we freeze?
Well, if he's keep on going, if he's probably freezing. If you can hear us, Pat, if you got it, because it's important that you got it. You back in. So he froze for a little bit.
Hello?
All right.
Okay, go ahead. So Tony's going to repeat the question one more time for you. Okay.
All right. Are you good?
Okay.
All right. Yeah. So what I was going to ask you was, as far as, things that you've learned about yourself, right? We're talking about leaders, and being a leader is one of the first traits, or in the first traits that we learn as far as leadership, is know your weakness, right? Are there some weaknesses that you've picked up along the way that you're like, oh man, that is my weakness? And if so, what have you had to do to work on that weakness?
Yeah, so my biggest weakness is the level of care that I exert. So I have very high expectations for myself and for other people, and so that typically bites me pretty hard. When people don't live up to our core values, for instance, that really hurts me. So if that's my biggest kryptonite, if you will, it's my level of care. And so what I do is I just try to keep 4 things simple, and I will apply to everybody, whether or not military or not. So I try to tell everybody, show up, do your job, do your very best. And I would curse, but I'm not going to say. It's
no, go ahead. You can. We're good.
We'll do it. We'll do it for you. Okay, well, it's a non-disclosure. We'll curse for you.
Yeah,
don't feel
I was going to say we survived last night.
Yeah,
we're good.
Yeah, it's called the gas factor, the give a shit factor. I mean, when you care so much, that's a good weapon to have, but it's also something that can hurt you, because you're vulnerable, and when you care too much, it can hurt you.
Thank you for sharing that, man. That's good. That's really good.
So Pat, here I got another question, right? When you're being deployed and you're in that position of leadership, have you ever, and I know a lot of people don't understand, you're in a position of leadership. Have you ever seen your juniors kind of start checking out, that puts you in a position where they can compromise the mission because they're not taking care of the mission, and they find yourself that they can compromise you? Can you unpack that to show people that there's a moment of clarity when that situation happens, when all bets are off?
Yeah, I would tell you, when I became a chief petty officer and deployed for the first time as a chief, I had a lot more responsibility, and it opened my eyes to having very direct conversations with people. When you leave the wire to do business and your mind's not in the game, that's a detriment to everybody. So I saw that on many, many occasions where I said, hey, you and me need to have a talk. Are you okay? And it typically always boiled down to some sort of personal thing going on back home. And I would just call it what it is. Hey, you can't leave the wire until you're ready to go. For those that don't know what the wire is, this is the unsafe confines of a forward operating base. But anyways, I started getting really good at just being direct with people. Hey, you're not your best you right now. What's going on? And it typically came down to, hey, I got a bad email from my wife, or my kids having trouble back home. Like, you need to resolve that to the greatest extent possible, because out here, people lose their lives. Like, yeah, things are going bad back home, but you got to figure out how to compartmentalize that the right way, without losing back home and without losing out where, you know, people's lives are on the line. And so I started getting really, really good at that. Like, you know, having that kneecap to kneecap conversation with people, looking in people's eyes, saying, "Dude, are you okay?"
Right. And I think
yeah, I'm probably not.
And I think that's very important, Pat, because a lot of people don't understand when we're talking about leaders lead, that sometimes, and I'm going to curse for you, sometimes you're just going to have to grab them by the balls and say, hey, dude, you don't understand what you're putting us into. You're checking out and you're putting us all in harm's way. It's bad enough all of us have personal issues back home, but when we leave that wire, we leave as one, we come back as one. And I don't want to be that person that says, I couldn't save you because you put us in a bad situation. People don't realize how much guilt is put upon us when that happens. Correct?
Correct. 100%.
What do you think, Tony?
Yeah, man. I'm just soaking this in, man. Pat, I love your energy, man. You're a very humble guy. Have you always been so humble?
Well, I have failed so many times in my life that I'm somehow a success. You know, if you're afraid to fail, you don't deserve to be successful. I think Charles Barkley once said that. Yeah, I just really believe in the mantra of just getting after it. If you're worried about failure all the time, you probably should just stay home. It's not going to work out for you. But if you just put yourself out there, hey, you never know. Again, like I go back to those 4 pillars for me. Show up, do your job, do your very best, and give a shit. If you don't show up, guess what? There's no chance in hell that you're going to be successful. And you're probably going to hurt somebody else by not showing up. So just show up. It's that easy.
So you being on LinkedIn for the last short period of time, what have you learned? What can you as an active duty military person bring a different perspective of you being on active duty? Your peers say, hey, go on LinkedIn. And I appreciate you liking my post because real quick, I've been on this platform for a long period of time. Tony and me met, and I'm one of the original guys that really make a point to remember the fallen, regardless. As a veteran advocate myself, your term doesn't expire, bro. It expires when you check out. So can you unpack that for these individuals that are going through this transition and are still active duty? They're probably scared to pull the trigger. Can you share that moment of what have you learned and what you're going to do at this point?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm trying my best to leverage LinkedIn to be the on-ground leader that people that are transitioning need. I'm there at the I haven't transitioned yet. I haven't really started my transition yet. So I appreciate when people hold me accountable to that. My win the other day, talking about the Navy Cool and you know, talking about DoD skill bridge and things like that. The thing about it is, like, I have a chance to talk to these people before they make their decision to get out. Hey, let's talk about what's next for you. And what can I do? What's getting in your way of helping you transition the way you need to transition? Because what I don't want to do is see you on LinkedIn a year from now saying how everybody screwed you over. I'm here right now to help you out, not later. Give me a call, give me a text, DM me. I don't care. I have a very long car ride twice a week. 3 hours each way. Give me a call. I got your 6. But I want to try to use LinkedIn to the greatest extent possible, like I said, to help others. So that way, when it's time for me to go, who knows? It might be an easy transition for me. Maybe I'm just looking for an easy button down the road by helping other people.
Well, you bring a valuable point, because here's the thing: when we're talking about transition, we're talking about different kind of skill sets, right? Mindset. We have a fixed mindset in the military. We're being told what to do, how to do it, and when to do it, and that's it. Now, when we make the transition into civilian life, you have an abundance of opportunity and time on your hand. And what happens is you come from a very structured environment to a pretty much entrepreneurship environment. When I say entrepreneurship, you do things on your own time, but you're not an entrepreneur. So what I've seen is a lot of veterans that are highly decorated, highly skilled, well-versed in the military, having serious situations and conversations with talent acquisition managers of how they were so great, but they suck on paper when it comes to being on the street. And I share that wholeheartedly because it's a fact. And 9 times out of 10, when a lot of veterans stress out, they play the veteran card. And they play the veteran card to their advantage, but it's not to their advantage because they're not marketing themselves. They're not being mentored. They're not understanding the transition. They're not following the system. We've already known what the TAP system does for the government. That's a government entity, but they don't have any individuals, and I can call that out, that didn't live through the process and that can really walk through people.
You think it's still like that? It seems like they've gotten better since when I was in. I remember going through TAPS, and TAPS the first day of TAPS was our career planner telling me you're going to come back, and then TAPS, the actual TAPS, right? Just watching TV and then basically going home. I think they're going a long way from that. What do you think, Pat? Oh, he's frozen.
He's frozen again.
Yeah.
He's coming back in and out. Did you hear that, Pat, about the TAPS program?
Sorry, guys. Can you hear me?
No, it's all good. It's all good. Just we were just wondering your current assessment of the TAP program, or just the whole, I don't even know if they still call it transition assistant program, but just as far as active duty members getting out of the military, what is your assessment of it as a whole?
Well, I haven't gone through TAP myself. So I signed myself up for the September class this year to go through. So even though I'm not transitioning yet, I want to see firsthand what's going on, what's all about, and what I can do about it. I can tell you that from my peers and from my sailors, from their experience, it's kind of like having like a super old car that they just keep putting new tires on. You know, right. And the tires are sexy, and so from a distance you're like, man, this is great. But when you get in there and you start driving it, you're like, hold on, why are we not talking about this? So like, I want to go there myself to see what it's really like.
Yeah.
And maybe I have a way to influence it to be better. I don't know. I'm only going by what other people told me. But when people are telling me that it's not good, there has to be some level of truth.
Well, I think that's important because by you being in active duty still, you're still fresh and engaged from the military. And then you can see how the system is implemented, and you can actually be a spokesman for others to share, like, look, I went through the program. This is what I learned. This is what I think that needs to be addressed. Because like Tony and myself and others that are out here on LinkedIn or the audience have gone through some major rough transitions. And it pretty much was, back in the day, was overpromise and underdeliver. I'm sure it's not like that now, but it's good to know that the opportunities are there for an individual like yourself with strong leadership skills and principles to be able to analyze and learn things, because you come from a background of not, failing is not an option. So when you go through that and you have that type of mindset and you bring that culture to TAPS, it allows you to understand and unpack that to a point where everybody can really relate to it versus hearing from rumors. What do you think, Pat?
Yeah, 100%. Like, can you hear me?
Yeah, you're good.
We hear you. We hear you.
Hey, sorry about my connection. Anyways,
don't worry about it.
I'm just happy it's not me today.
It was him. Yeah, so it was him for a bit.
You were watching us yesterday, right, Pat?
Yeah, briefly. Yeah,
yeah. So you must have just seen Hiram doing all
the
talking.
So let me get you the best answer. The best answer I can get to you is kind of like if you don't know how to pick up the broom and sweep anymore, and you're a senior leader, you're probably not doing the right thing, right? So every once in a while, I grab a broom and I sweep with everybody else because I want them to know where I came from and what I'm about. So programs like TAPS, things that are meant to help. I'm gonna find out my performance like, and I'm gonna do the hard work that I can while I have the platform that I have. So it's leadership by example. That's how I feel about it.
Oh, I love that.
I have one more question, Pat, for you. That's something that I need to bring up that we've Tony and me would talk about that. So racial diversity in the military today. What type of gentrification factors play into it? Since you've been in 98, how much has it changed? And if you can't elaborate, you can be very cautious of everything else. I'm not putting you in a political thing, but you observing that, can you unpack that for everybody else to understand how much of the diversity and what have you learned from the multi-cultures as a senior chief up there?
Well, during my time in the military, diversity has always been key to our success as a nation, but no more successful than in the military. And if you recall, Navy has always led the way as far as being the most diverse and inclusive of all the branches. And I would challenge anybody on that. We're still one of the ones that are trying to do our best for everybody. Diversity is a very beautiful thing. That is our strategic advantage over our adversaries, that we're not all exactly the same. Look at the three of us. We're all extremely diverse, but this is what makes us beautiful. And we're all war fighters with warrior heart. I don't care what you look like or where you came from. I just know that you're my brother, and that's the only thing that matters to me. This has been my experience in the military. For 23 years, I've had great experiences. And when I've had bad experiences, I just chalk it up to ignorance, or maybe it's ignorance on my part. I just try to do my part as a leader and as a human to just try to be a good person. I don't want to get into whether or not somebody's right or wrong. I just want to do the right thing, whatever that is. Whatever my gut tells me is the right thing, that's what I'm going to do.
I love it. I love it. So final question. I love this question. When it's all said and done with, what is Pat's legacy? Life.
Man. All right. So I got my military answer, and then I got my civilian answer. My military answer, I've said this to myself, but now I really want to be something. And this is no offense to anybody else. I want to be the Michael Jordan of Command Master Chiefs. I don't know if that makes sense to anybody else, but
it makes sense, brother.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, like people can debate all day long, but nobody can challenge my heart and what I do for other people. That's the legacy I want to leave, militarily speaking. And I won't stop until I feel like I have done everything. But I also have the Jordan rule, right? I'm going to do this until I don't love it anymore. And luckily for the Navy, I love this shit. I love the people. I love our missions. We are a great organization, and I'm going to do this till I don't love it anymore. As far as my civilian legacy, look, the fact that I'm still married and I have slightly like me sometimes, and I got a house in Temecula. My house is almost paid off. Kids have jobs. Life is good. I just want to be a good person. And if I could leave no other legacy, it's just that my tombstone will say, that dude was a good person.
Oh, I love it. I'd follow you. What about you, Hiram?
Hey, bro, there's no way we're going out and we're coming back in, because that's why Leaders Lead the podcast specializes in diversity. That came out there. So real quick, like I said, getting back to Pat's question, man, I'll follow this, because you know what? I see ourselves in a hot zone, in a firefight. You know, we're pinned down. People don't understand that at a moment's notice, it's not what you think, it's what you have to do.
Yeah.
What are you going to do to save each other? What's it going to take to save each other? And then people, they get all hyped up with, I have to use with the movie Lone Survivor. But when you're like Marcus Luttrell, you lived through that. You've seen the shit that's happened and you live to tell about it. And people don't understand, but they say, thank you for the service. They don't even understand the dynamics of real life scenario, because those are the memories that stays in your mind till you die. People don't even want to talk about it.
Right.
So when we're talking about following Pat, I'm looking at shit. We're going about to get down on this stuff. I don't give a shit what's going to happen. All we know, 3 of us are going and 3 of us are coming back one way or another. That's it.
I love that.
Oh, yeah.
Man, I love that. It's funny how veterans, and I love this, that we do this. It seems like when I asked that question, Hiram, his first train of thought, it wasn't leading to, okay, he's going to be the best in fixing the freaking coffee maker, or the best in fouling, or the best of whatever. Hiram went to war. He said that he would follow Pat to war. That's the ultimate trust. And that's what leadership is about. Leadership is about trusting, right? It goes both ways. I just thought that was beautiful, man. Damn.
You have to, because look, a lot of people don't understand this, and Pat can agree. We are so good when we're in the confines of the military environment. But when shit happens and life happens, at a moment's notice, anything can happen. This is where the moment you're going to rise, and it's going to tell you non-verbally how much that person means to you, or how much it means to you to do something for that person. I don't go by words, I go by deeds. So we're going to go through some shit, pack lightly. We know we're going to come back, and don't sleep I got shotgun when we come back. So that's it.
Right. That's right.
Oh man. Any last words, Pat? Any last words, brother?
I'm truly humbled for the opportunity. Thanks for the platform. I don't necessarily like to put myself out there. I just kind of like to work behind the shadows and try to take care of people. So I appreciate being amongst the two of you who I look up to, that I admire. And so I just want to continue doing well. Let's stay connected, brothers. Okay. Thank you very much.
Oh yeah. Don't worry, brother. I'm coming down to Temecula. We're down the road. You're 25 miles away from me. So we'll just meet up for sure.
We're going to put up a tent in your backyard, man. You'll wake up in the morning.
So wait. One last word for the audience. If you had something to leave them and drop the mic, what can you tell the audience by dropping the mic on this? Close it out, Pat.
Never, ever give up. Ever.
Oh.
That's it.
I love it. I love it.
All right.
So until next week, we will see you. Thank you, everybody that tuned in. This has been amazing. Thank you, Pat. Man, I really appreciate you gracing us with your presence. And
don't worry about this. That's what I'm talking about. Facts and feelings.
I knew you're getting ready to show off your freaking shirt.
I'm going to do it as much as possible. I did one yesterday and say, here's the thing. Facts and feelings, Pat knows, has nothing to do with it. Your feelings have nothing to do with the facts that is going to go on. So
I love it.
I'll leave you with that.
I love it.
All right.
All right. Thank you, everybody. We appreciate it. Take care.
Take care, man. Take care.
Bye.
Later.